Welcome to my video of our cruise around the Pennines aboard narrowboat Somerset in April of 2022. I've divided the cruise into three parts. The first part is exploring the eastern portion of the Rochdale Canal. From the 4th to the 8th of April we travelled 27 miles and went up and then down 35 locks. The map shows where we moored overnight. By the way, the dates are in day-month format. We left Reno at 6 a.m. on Saturday the 2nd on American Airlines. At Dallas-Fort Worth we had the most expensive beer of the entire trip. As we approached London Heathrow, we sang Happy Birthday to Yvonne. On our arrival, we had a beer breakfast before connecting British Airways flight to Manchester. We took a taxi from the airport to our B&B in the pretty village of Brinnand. The first order of business was a pint and then a nice meal. After dinner we went for a walk around the village and had a pint in the oldest hostelry in Yorkshire. First dated records are 1309. This is St. Bartholomew's Church. It was built in 1868 in neo-Gothic style. In the morning there was a hamper outside our bedroom doors filled with all sorts of goodies for our continental breakfast. After breakfast we caught the local bus from the village to Sowerby Bridge. We found our way to Shire Cruises and stowed our luggage aboard narrowboat Somerset. This was to be our home for the next 19 days. After introducing ourselves, we walked into town and stocked up with plenty of groceries. On our return to the boatyard, we met up with Foskett. Like us, he was a share owner in narrowboat Swallow at one time. Brian will be cruising with us for the next 4 days. This is Nigel Stevens. He and his wife Susan are owners of Shire Cruises. Before leaving, Nigel gave us a very lengthy talk on the do's and don'ts of narrowboating and pointed out a number of challenging obstacles that we would encounter. It is standard practice for Shire Cruises to have one of the crew members take the boat out of the basin and through a few locks. However, Mandy took the tiller and had no problem getting us underway. Locks 1 and 2 on the Rochdale Canal are regular wide locks, but the next lock, Tool Lane Lock, is quite different. It has a fall of 19 feet and 8 inches and is the deepest lock in Britain. Because of its depth, operation by boat crews is not permitted. Passage is controlled by a lock keeper. We were instructed to loop our ropes through these poles to hold the boat against the wall as we ascended. This gives some idea of its depth. After the lock has been partially filled with the ground sluices being opened, the sluices in these gates will be opened to fill it the rest of the way. It was raining very hard as we made the 5.5 mile and 5 lock cruise up to Hebden Bridge for our first overnight mooring. Our first pub visit of the cruise was to the Swan. I had a nice chat with Elizabeth, the owner. She told me all about the struggles she had had trying to keep the pub open after the loss of her husband. Elizabeth was not serving food tonight, so we walked down to the White Lion for dinner. Well, it's Tuesday and we're just left Hebden Bridge and we're cruising towards Todmartin. These are the old mill buildings. We're about 1 mile from Todmartin. Beautiful sunny day. Well, nearly sunny. And as you can see, we're in Shore Plains Lock number 15. As you can see, it really wasn't sunny as we made a midday stop in Todmartin. We popped into the White Hart for a pint and I had a Ruddles Best for 99p. That was with the help of Brian's discount camera card. It was the cheapest beer of the entire cruise. Well, we're going into the Todmartin Guillotine Lock.
Water forward.
Huh?
There's a lot of water forward. Is our front door shut?
Now for a history lesson. When the Rochdale Canal was built, all the locks had two sets of bottom gates, one at 72 foot and the other, to save water, at 57.5 foot. So originally this lock had two sets of traditional bottom gates. When the road was widened in 1920, the 72 foot gates were replaced with a guillotine gate. By 1952 the canal had fallen into disuse and most of the bottom gates were removed. When restoration of the canal first began, they only installed the traditional 57.5 foot bottom gates. However, when the canal was reconnected to the Calder and Hebble navigation in 1997, the motorised guillotine gate you see today was installed to return the full length of the canal to 72 foot. If you look at the rear of the lock in the photograph, you can see the indentation where the 57.5 foot gates used to be. We have just gone under the impressive Gaxholm Railway Viaduct and leaving Lock 22. Well, this is our overnight mooring on Tuesday night. And we're at Walsden, and there's actually a little bit of sun coming out. We had some low pounds today and had to bring some water down from the upper pound. We moored up in Walsden between locks 28 and 29 and had Cornish pasties on board for dinner. Well, it's Wednesday morning, we're underway. We're still heading up the Rochdale Canal. We're heading towards the summit. And we are at Foskett Lock. Well, as you can see, we made it to the Summit Lock. Well, we're in the Summit Pound, Rochdale Canal.
Brian is winding narrowboat Somerset. And what we're going to do is reverse this back a little bit, put some pins in, go down to the summit in for a punt. This is the scenery that we're going to be looking at when we get moored up.
After mooring up, we walked along the highest broad canal pound in England and visited the West Summit Lock. This starts the canal's descent to Manchester. After a fairly challenging morning cruise, we deserved our lovely dinner and a couple of pints at the summit. As a side note, I had lost all my taste for food and drink during this cruise, so I had to use my imagination. It's time to start our descent back down the Rochdale Canal. We had a minor mishap with our button, and this gentleman very kindly fixed it for us. He and his wife live on their 72-foot boat near the summit.
Well, we've left the summit. We're heading back to Todmorden. There's Yvonne on the towpath going down to set the next lock. Look at that sunshine.
It's not a very long canal, but its 91 broad locks make it one of, or the most, challenging in the network. We had a problem finding this hidden water point on the way up, but on the way down Mandy took great care not to disturb the local resident. Although it doesn't look like it from these photos, it was raining and pouring for most of the afternoon, and we had plenty of challenges. The water was pouring over the top gates and the towpath was flooded. On one of the locks we had to lasso the gate with our rope and pull it open by reversing the boat.
Well, we're back down at Todmorden and we're going into the guillotine lock. And there's Yvonne doing all the work lifting the guillotine locks. Yvonne!
We moored up for the night in the visitor moorings next to the Golden Lion pub. After all those locks we were exhausted, so we had our beer on board. Unfortunately, the patrons of the pub were very noisy well into the night. But things looked a lot brighter the next morning.
It's Thursday morning, we're in Todmorden Market. And Yvonne, Brian and Mandy are doing some shopping. It's Thursday morning, or Thursday afternoon, and we're just leaving Todmorden and heading back to Hebden Bridge. Now, it may look as though it's a nice sunny day. A few minutes ago it was hailstones. We're slowly making our way down towards Hebden Bridge between heavy showers and bright sunshine.
What a shame. It looks like another old traditional pub has gone by the wayside.
Right, we've had a really nice late lunch at Stubbins Wharf, and now we're just coming into Hebden Bridge. One of the old mill chimneys. It's Thursday evening, April the 8th, and we've just gone through the village of Mytholmroyd and heading into the next village of London. Don't think I said that correctly. And we're going down the Drearly Locks. As you can see, it's turned into a beautiful evening. Friday morning and no rain. Looks as though we might have a sunny day. Beautiful still waters. This is our mooring for last night.
Another one of Yvonne's great breakfasts.
Well, we're underway. Again, it's Friday morning. It's about 8 o'clock. Sun is out.
I arrived quite a while before narrowboat Somerset and had an enjoyable chat with Gary the lockkeeper.
Well, if you can hear me, we're in locks 3 and 4, Cooley Lane. This used to be 2 locks. It was all filled in and it's a parking lot when I was here in 93. They restored the canal, they put in this one great big lock.
We got back to Shire Cruises around 9 o'clock and met Susan Stevens. She was not there when we picked the boat up because she had contracted COVID. Mandy brought the boat into the yard and the staff pumped out the toilet and filled up the fuel tank. We were now ready to start part 2 of our Pennine cruise.